Hi guys, Arnold here, and today I'm doing a different kind of video than I guess I've done ever, really. Today I thought it would be cool to do a video of me trying to replicate painting that my grandmother did. Here's one of the ones I'm going to be replicating. It's of a ballerina, and whereas the original is done in oil paints, I'm going to be using what I have, which is markers and watercolors. So obviously there's going to be an art style difference, but there's going to be that anyway, because where my grandmother had more of a realistic kind of art style, I feel like I have more cartoony art style when it comes to drawing and painting and such. Which is probably how come when I was a huge fan of My Little Pony, I was constantly drawing My Little Pony, because it was such a cartoony style and very easy to get really good at drawing. And I've never personally been all that good at drawing human characters, which you can easily see right here with my attempt at drawing a rough sketch of this ballerina. The face is just, the facial expression is not my finest. I have definitely done way better facial expressions than that kind of blank look that is on the ballerina face. I don't know why I went with such a blank expression. Maybe I was trying to replicate the concentration on the original ballerina's face, but yeah. This painting also had a very interesting ombre effect in the background. It started off with a purpley blue, and then it went into a pink, and then it went into a very light blue, baby blue almost. So you can see me trying to replicate that here with little itsy bitsy little strokes. I find that when you're painting a background, it always helps to do an outline along the subject matter before you try to paint the whole entire thing. Not only does it make it easier to plan out your strokes, I guess is a good way of saying it, but also it helps me to get more encouragement, I guess, for filling out this whole big space, And I really wanted to make the background very strokey, so you can see almost every stroke, because that's how it was in the original painting. So there's that, and here you can see me painting in the hair, and honestly I probably should have drawn the hair a little bit bigger, because it kind of makes this ballerina look like a boy, the way I drew it. Probably should have drew a teeny bit more length on there. So yeah, and here you can see me working in the pink, starting off at the very edge of the purple and working my way around the face, and around the arm, and around the knee. Thumbs up this video if you like me doing voiceover for videos after recording them, as opposed to talking to you guys while making the video, because this is actually a very relaxing, I feel more relaxed video than I would normally make, because I'm not talking to you guys as I'm doing the thing, so I'm not talking about my frustrations as much with the current situation as I would, I suppose. Although I am hardly critiquing myself, I suppose. yeah, here you see me going through my different paints to find the best shade for the very light blue. I ended up on this blue here where you can tell that it's like the very end of the watercolors. But we made it work. Okay, next I believe I'm painting in the skin with this flesh tone. Also, has anyone else noticed that it's very hard to find like flesh tone watercolors? Maybe it's just the brands that I'm looking for them in, but I find it very hard to find like flesh tone colored watercolors. Like this paint palette that I have here is like the only one I have with like flesh tones in it. I did hear something about Crayola bringing out a palette of like, or rather a whole line of like crayons and markers and stuff where it's just like skin tones, which I need to find that because I have little to no skin tone like colors in my collection, and when you're trying to get better at drawing people like I am, you need some flesh tones in your collection. So yeah, and here I'm getting the white paint ready to paint the little tutu and dress, leotard I guess you would call it. Fun fact, I actually took ballet for like 1 semester, I guess you would say, when I was 6. I was on like the first level of ballet, so I didn't really learn any like complicated or well-known moves. The most well-known move that I learned was jeté, and that's it. So I actually, like, after like that 1 semester, for lack of a better term, of ballet, I actually around the same time as I took that ballet class and afterward, I got hardcore into Barbie movies, and a lot of Barbie movies are based on ballets. So I actually picked up a lot on how to do a lot of ballet moves, more from the Barbie movies, like from watching them over and over, than the actual ballet class that I took. But that's just me. You know, people learn different ways. And here we see me doing what was that sentence structure? I don't know. But here I'm working on the second painting, which is a painting of like Santa Claus peeking out from behind a curtain, and I feel like this is the most cartoony looking one. Like, I feel like they all look really cartoony because, you know, I did the outlines in marker and I was thinking, oh, with the watercolors I could cover them up, but I didn't really cover them up that good. But anywho, this is the one where, like, when you compare it to the original, it's like the most cartoony, I feel like. Well, this and one other one, which I'll point out to later. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, this one was definitely a lot easier to paint personally for me, because there weren't any really tricky things when it comes to drawing or painting people for me. Like, it was just a face, an arm, and a beard, and a mitten. That's pretty easy to draw for me. Where I tend to get tripped up is like arms, legs, fingers, toes. That's where I tend to get tripped up. Unless with the legs I can just do like 2 straight lines. Whenever I can to get away with just doing 2 straight lines heading off the page, that for legs, that's what I'll do. And here's me painting the background. You don't really see it that well on camera, but the paint that I'm using here is like a grayish, greenish blue, and it's got shimmer to it. I ended up using the shimmer paint because I wanted to try to match the color of the background as best as I could from the original painting, so that's why I ended up using the shimmer paint, because I was trying to match the color. Because I used the shimmer paint, it kind of looks like there's either a really sparkly curtain behind Santa, or there's like snow behind Santa, maybe he's in a window that just doesn't have any separators, and that's the snow behind him or something. But to me personally, I thought it looked more like a shimmery curtain behind him. So maybe there's a curtain behind him and then there's like this red curtain. Because if I remember correctly, there are usually two kinds of curtains when you're on stage somewhere. Like there's the curtain at the back of the stage and then there's the curtain at the front of the stage, if memory serves. I think that's how it works. It might vary stage to stage, but that's in my experience how it's been. Yeah. So here I'm switching paint water, because the best thing you can do to get your watercolors looking their best is to switch the water when you switch colors. Now some people like to do this by having two separate cups of water, but I didn't feel like doing it at this point in time, so I just switched out my watercolor paint a lot. And here I'm going to work on the curtain with the reddest, brightest, candy applest red that I could find in my collection of watercolors. And I tried to keep my strokes going one direction because that really gives you a fabric-y like looking texture. So that's what I was trying to do. And I forget what I was doing here. And right back on painting the curtain. Do 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 do. We're almost done. And I go right back, and I go right into doing Santa's hat. Side note, you may notice that I didn't outline Santa's pom-pom. That's something that I noticed earlier near the end, and I just like freehand the pom-pom. And I spilled water into my paint colors right there. So yeah, I just poured that back in. Okay, and I think that made like the mitten and the sleeve there much more pigmented. Okay, and now with fresh water I'm going in with the white to do the beard. And I really tried to do a lot of texture on the beard just to make it stand out. You can't really see it on camera because it's white on top of white, but yeah. And then I go into the cuff, and I really tried to keep the cuff of the mitten or his sleeve or whatever. I really tried to round it out and cover up the marker marks there. And as you can see, I've already got into painting the face, and I just went with a really the lightest pink I could find in my collection, which kind of makes Santa look like he just got back from California and got a suntan, but you work with what you got. Alright, and we're headlong into the next painting, which I actually painted today. Yeah. So this painting is actually of like an angel with some bells, and it's really pretty, really Christmassy. And I think it was one of the more simplistic paintings that I tried to copy. Okay. This is one of the paintings where you could really see an art style difference when you put it side by side with the original, because it just looks super cartoony compared to the original, which actually looks like a real piece of art. But like I said, that's my art style, is pretty cartoony. So here I'm coloring the hair. And I kind of painted the hair first to put off doing the whole background, because there is just so much background to this painting, and it felt like it took forever to paint it all in. So that's how come I'm doing an outline here. I'm just like, oh, if I do an outline, it'll make it seem less like it's taking forever, but it took forever. And I'm going around the ribbons and the bells. Yeah, you can tell in this clip that I am not excited to paint the entire background. Yeah. But luckily when it's sped up like this, it goes by pretty quick. I probably should have painted around the halo yellow instead of just filling in the circle yellow, because that's like, I don't know, it gives it kind of an old-fashioned Christmas kind of feel, which we already got a lot of that going on in this painting, so I guess it kind of fits in. And also I probably should have done something like do a different shade of black for the hair, because it kind of blends right in with the background now. Unless you look really close and see the outline of the marker, you can't really see the hair on the black backdrop. And I'm doing the little edge right there with near the bottom of the skirt. See me trying to break it off into smaller sections to make it less of an intimidating portion of the painting. Then I started doing this rim around thing to make the sections smaller that I had to paint, and that really helped a lot. And it really made it go by so much faster. Because then I could just go boop, 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 and really make a lot of progress. Okay, we're almost done filling in the background. Good. And there we go. Now we can move on to the next color. While I'm getting fresh water, you may have noticed that I'm actually using a bottle cap to store my paint water. I guess you could call that a life hack. I've been doing it for, like, basically anything with sides and a bottom. I've probably, at one point, tried to use it for watercolor paint. I've used bottle caps, I've used those little things that come with, like, medicine, like the measuring cup thingies. I've used Dixie cups, which I feel like is the norm. Yeah. And that's basically all. A lot of things that you could use to hold your paint water. And I feel like using little lids is always a good idea, because it's kind of like recycling, because you're repurposing it. And yeah, that's really cool. Now you can't really see it on camera here, but I switched to a different shade of red, because the one that I was using wasn't giving me the color that I really wanted. It was really giving me more of a very like pink and worn look, and I really wanted a bright, like, Christmassy red. So I switched to a newer palette, which it's super obvious that in real life that I switched to to a different one near the end, but you can't really see it here, so that's cool. And now I'm doing the white on her sleeve and on her wing, and I'm painting in her halo. And I didn't bother getting more water here because I just didn't feel like it. And then I did her face, which I probably should have been more careful with because I ended up smearing her face a little bit. So I probably should have been more careful there. And I'm painting in the green ribbon. Very carefully. Signing it, and that is it. Alright, now for the last one. This one, it definitely turned out very simplistic and cartoony. And where am I? Seriously, where am I? Okay, there I am. Okay. So I start off with just a rough sketch with red Sharpie and a green Crayola marker and a yellow Crayola marker. And yeah. Do 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 do. There is just so much glare going on right now. I probably should have dimmed the lights a little. Well, it's too late now. Do 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 do. Good. Okay, I think we're almost done sketching all the greenery. There is just a lot of greenery in this painting. A lot of it I just kind of simplified, and yeah. Okay, so now we're going on with the green paint and actually painting all of the holly and the sprigs of pine and such. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have painted the sprigs of pine as much as I did, because it really gave it a really, really cartoony and child-like painting look. Not very professional. But anyway, so now we're going in with the red to do the holly berries and to do the poinsettias. And what I did with the poinsettias, just to give them a more realistic look, you can't really see it on the finished product, but I tried to do like one petal at a time. As you can see here, I'm going like one petal, one petal, one petal, and then I did like the pollen, I think, like the yellow stuff in the middle. I think it's pollen, I'm not sure. But anyway, that just gave it a really realistic petal look, but it kind of all blended together in the end, so you can't really see it if you look at the painting like right now, but when it was freshly painted you can see it really well. So yeah, that kind of didn't work out too well for me. And here I'm going in and doing the second one and the third. Not really putting as much effort into the petals layer as I did with the bigger one, but I'm getting more paint. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm getting yellow paint to paint the basket. Okay, and the pollen, of course. Okay, painty, painty, paint. if I were to redo this painting, I would probably do a rough draft in pencil of the basket before I try to do all the flowers, because that would just make the basket look more realistic. As it is now, it really doesn't look that realistic. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed my little voiceover for this video, and for the end of this video, I wanted to show you guys a side-by-side comparison of each painting. So, the more realistic looking painting is the original, and the cartoony looking one is mine, obviously. Yeah, it's just a world of difference. You can tell that I was trying to replicate it, but it's just like a world of difference, like I said. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of change up in a video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.